Well, let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the local bourse. Of course, we did have in monetary policy the South African Reserve Bank concluding its monetary policy meeting today and coming out with a decision to reduce interest rates, where the repo rate is now standing at 7.5%. We are seeing some optimism flowing through to the JSE. The all share up by more than 0.4%. That largely coming from the Resources 10 complex that's climbed more than 1.5%. A tepid rise in the Financial 15 of 0.04%. And the Industrial 25, 0.06% above that flat line. Let's take a look at what is happening in the U.S. markets, and on that front, investors chewing on the Fed's latest decision. Of course, that was taken last night, with the Fed keeping the interest rates on hold. Of course, not like what the SARB did here back at home, but also investors sifting through the earnings that we did get from mega cap stocks like Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla. Quite a mixed bag that we got there. Also, GDP data coming in for the fourth quarter, growing less than what markets had anticipated. The tech-heavy Nasdaq relatively flat there, 0.02% below that flat line. We do have the S&P 500 up more than 0.25%, and the Dow eking out a gain of 0.15%. Let's take a look at what is happening in the European markets. We also do have earnings trickling in there. We did have H&M missing on fourth quarter sales estimates. Deutsche Bank also coming out with numbers that surprised to the downside. Also having oil giant Shell posting a softer annual profit, but deciding to raise their dividend and also launching a share buyback program. We also did have, actually, in monetary policy, the European Central Bank coming out and reducing interest rates by 25 basis points. FTSE 100 up by almost 0.9%. The CAC 40 climbing more than 0.75%, and again on the DAX of more than 0.25%. Let's take a look at the currency market and start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. Significant strength on the rand, now just above 18 rand 40 against the US dollar. Of course, over the last few days, we had seen it at around 18 rand 70 against the pound at 23 rand, and against the euro at 19 rand 24. Let's check in on how the other currency pairs are doing, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.04, pound dollar at 1.24, and the yen just below 154 against the US dollar.